Do you believe all those negative myths about renovating your home? I need you to stop that and have a listen to this. Hey everyone, I'm Mike Bean from MGB Building Group. Today, we're on a job site and we're renovating one of the century-old homes in Toronto. We've been doing this for decades. Of course, yeah, it looks like a mess in behind me here. And all those negative things people say, they're a money pit. They're going to fall apart as soon as you take down the walls. It's going to cost way too much money to do them. I know these things, they must sound familiar to you. And these comments are usually coming from, people who have never completed a home renovation like this, or if they did, they probably selected the wrong team to complete this renovation for them. And, if these aren't handled correctly, of course, it can be a complete disaster. There's so many aspects of these projects that you have to know what you're doing, and you have to really understand how the home was built originally and what you're able to do to create the renovation that you want. And that's what, the professionals at MGB do that. And today, I'm going to give you the solutions for all those fears, help erase the anxiety you're feeling about renovating your old house in Toronto. And, if you don't do it, think of what you're missing out on, the opportunity here. These older homes are in the best neighborhoods in Toronto, the tree-lined streets, all the beautiful parks. And, that's where, the dream is for a lot of people, to create that home and be able to enjoy time with their family and raise their kids and be their forever home. So that's what we're going to go through here today. Without the right process and the experience from the teams that are completing these projects, they're going to create a mess for you. And of course, these homes are really, really tricky. There's lots that goes into them, lots of planning that goes into them. We have to remember all these little items that, go into these homes. And it's really important to understand the how of how these homes were built and put together. I want to share a little story with you about, people that are now my friends, but they were previous clients, and they were going through to do a full interior renovation with an underpin, an addition, and completely restructure project, a lot like what we're doing on the site we're at now. And the couple had been planning this for years, and it was their dream to live in the perfect Toronto neighborhood, renovate their forever home, just be there and enjoy. And they had chatted with numerous builders, numerous contractors, and they couldn't get a straight answer. And they just didn't feel anyone they were talking to gave them that 100% confidence that they were looking for to handle this project. It was a huge project, huge sum of money that they were going to put out there to get all this done. And, they were nervous, which is understandable for the situation. So they just weren't, they didn't have confidence in the people they were chatting with. They kept hearing, different things. We can do bench footings for you. We can underpin, and over pour is the better way to do it. We're going to have to replace your joist. No, we'll sister your joist. We need to, knock out the brick to do the windows, but don't worry, we don't have to put lintels in. The old brick will support itself. All these different answers they've been having, not even understanding what the builders were saying. So just creating mass confusion for them. So when we stepped in and we started chatting with them, the first thing we did was review the drawings that they had received. And they weren't bad drawings, but they weren't the best drawings for a renovation. There was lots of contractor to verify on site, TBDs, which is fine in a reno. We understand, you can't know everything that's behind the walls. But one thing that we've insisted that we do with them is we do some exploratory work and a little bit of light demo. So we wanted to check the soil bearing capacity. We wanted to check size of the footings, how the house was actually structurally put together. So we had to do, some light demo and investigating to figure all that stuff out. And it really saved them delays and time from having to go back and redo that while they were doing work on the actual project when it started there, which is just a terrible way to go about and start a renovation off with this. And it's, really simple. Take the time, do these things, go through the entire process before you start construction. Anyways, I want to get into what we did for these people actually. So we actually went through, redid the drawings, sat down with our architect, our engineer, we put everything together. And most of the time for our projects, we're involved during the design so we can work hand in hand with the architect. We want to do and what we want to have happen. And then we were able to explain to the clients, like, look, we need to put some steel in so we can open up your main floor and give you that beautiful open concept. Your original joists are going to get sistered. They're going to get tied in with the new steel. Still looking at us a little bit perplexed when we started talking about underpinning and, pads that are going inside the basement and the floor there. So, we just thought it was best. We had them out to one of our active sites. We brought their drawings with them, and we just explained exactly what we were doing on an active site. And we were able to relate that back to their drawings and show them what we were going to do in their home and in their project. And it finally clicked for them. They understood what was going to happen. They had that confidence in us. And, by taking them out to the site and showing them, they actually knew what we were doing, and they had full confidence in us to get their project done. So, moving the story forward here, we were able to complete their project for them. It was a great renovation. They're still living in the home to this day. And this project was probably about 10 years ago. I think we've done 3 or 4 other projects on that street since then. And these clients have become great friends. And, they've thanked us countless times for just taking the time, slowing down, and really walking them through the process and showing them how we were going to go through and complete the project, from the underpin, the addition off the back, all the steel work, and all that stuff that, they weren't getting it explained to them properly, so that they felt confident that the contractors or builders knew what they were doing. Here's the thing. When you skip the process, you don't educate yourself, you take out the understanding, you're going to be making mistakes. And some of these mistakes are major, and they're going to happen at awful times during construction. Carpenters are going to be on site. You're going to be trying to decide on structural changes, trying to solve those problems. It's going to create months of delay. You're going to be spending money you didn't think you were going to have to spend. And, that's not how you build. I look at it, that's how you wing it. And fair enough, some of the time you're not going to know everything. You need to sit down and figure things out and talk with a company who understands and can explain everything to you that's going to happen in that build. Like old homes, you shouldn't be guessing, and you shouldn't be working with companies that aren't professionals. You need to take the guesswork out of it. You need to educate yourself before you start. And of course, you have to sit down with a professional company that can give you all the answers and can educate you on what actually is going to, take part in your home here. So if you're planning to renovate one of these older homes, feel free to reach out for a consultation. We'll walk you through what to look for, what to expect, and how to explain it to you guys and plan it right the first time. Now, let's break down a few of these myths. And let's talk about, some of the things that y'all fear or myth, whatever's holding people back from renovating these older homes here in Toronto. One of the things we always get is the basement will be unusable. I'm going to admit they totally look like a dungeon down there. Wet. The concrete slab that's down there isn't level. It's cracked. It's been patched numerous times. Someone's painted over the brick wall to try to cover up that wear and tear. Every time you go down there, you're hitting your head on that massive beam that is your load-bearing beam that's holding up your floor system right now. But I admit they're not the best, and they do take a little bit of work to get out of that dungeon feel that they have right now. So the best way, when we're talking about when we're doing a full home reno as well. So we're always trying to advise the client to underpin the basement, allow us to get that ceiling height, do the waterproofing, and allow them to have a nice dry basement that's usable space for them. And it's probably one of the best things you can do if you're doing a full home renovation like this. And yeah, it's dirty work. It's heavy. It's no fun. But luckily for you, you're not the one doing that. Our team's down there, and we're handling all that for you guys. So let's just talk about the underpin and how it works a little bit. And first, when we're on the project, of course, we want to plan. We want to determine what the soil bearing capacity is and know how far down we can dig and do all that sort of stuff. So then when we're on the site and we actually start to commence the work in the underpin in the basement, we are following our engineer's drawings that are city approved. And it's usually broken down into 3 or 4 phases of underpinning, and we're going around your perimeter existing foundation wall, and we're excavating down about 26 to 30 inches, depending on what our finished height is. And then we're also excavating back underneath your entire foundation wall to support. And we're doing that spread out in different sections so that we're able to ensure the safety of your existing structure and your neighbor's structures there. So we go around and we do that around the entire perimeter. Once that's been filled with concrete, concrete's been vibrated, we've removed the forms, we get into the next phase, which is removing the middle earth. And we have to excavate all that out. And we're typically using conveyor belts or electric excavators to pull the dirt out of there. And now once we're down there and this has been completed and we have that 9-foot ceiling and the clients come down, they're always looking at each other and puzzled, like, well, how are we not doing this? Like, why did we have so much hesitation? Like, what was our fear? This was such a smooth process, and look what we got out of this. We're down here standing in a 9-foot ceiling, which is great. Now you've increased your living space in your home here. And of course, rest of the basement's going to get drywalled. We're going to frame electrical, plumbing. You're going to get all those beautiful finishes that you got throughout the rest of your home. And you're definitely not going to have a dungeon in the basement anymore. It's going to be a beautiful, usable space. I mean, a lot of our clients are saunas, wine cellars, gyms, any of those, extra items that you want to fit in your home, you can in the basement. Probably one of the most common things I hear from people that they can't get out of the older homes is the floor layout or the plan that they desire. The older homes were narrow hallways, really small staircases, lots of rooms everywhere, which are load-bearing walls holding the house up, of course. Homes weren't built back then or designed back then the way that we're looking to design and build live-in homes now. So, a lot of thought that has to go into restructuring these homes and, making them for modern time and how people want to live right now. So, of course, everybody wants open concept, the kitchen, living room, dining room, all that stuff to flow together. Upstairs, you want your primary bedroom, your primary ensuite with your nice big walk-in closet. And, we understand all that. And, these homes, they're not hard to do those things in if, you know what you're doing, you know how the home was originally put together, and you have the experience on building these homes. And we do a lot of these projects where, we're very comfortable, we're very confident in knowing how to put these together, whether it's, removing the existing floor joists and doing a new floor system. A lot of the time we're doing what we call sistering, where we're installing steel beams up in the floor systems. Across the rear of homes, we're putting in steel beams as well. But we're very confident in doing all of that work. And, we can explain it very well. But you know what? I don't want to just explain it and confuse you guys talking about steel beams, sistering, all these other things that you might have heard of, but you're not sure what it is. We're going to go inside here. We're really fortunate today. We're at a space where we can do this. And I'm going to just walk you guys through when I'm talking about steel beams and sistering joists together and show you how we create these great open floor plans on these 100-year-old homes here in Toronto. All right, guys. So really fortunate today that we're on this site where we're actually doing our structural support to allow us to get our new steel beams in and to allow us to sister onto the entire existing joist into the steel. So first, I just want to talk about all of these shoring jacks here that we have set up in the house. We have ones going all the way up to the roof, and that's supporting the load of the roof there. And then we have all the other jacks that are in here supporting the second floor subfloor system, which allows us to safely remove the existing joist that we have, and it allows us to install our new steel beams. So you'll see here, we have our one steel beam that's connected onto the exterior wall here. And down here, we're actually going to have a metal column that ties into the basement foundation resting on a bearing plate. And this steel beam up here, you can see it's been packed out with the lumber on both sides. And what it is we're tying the existing framing the floor system into these steel beams, and we're going to sister, which is adding another floor joist to the side of the existing joist all the way back to the exterior wall here. And that's really going to, give us that support and that strength that we need. And of course, this steel beam is in combination with another one that we have running across the house, and that's picking up this load, because you can imagine this house previously was all load-bearing walls, small rooms everywhere. So by putting in 1, 2, 3, and a fourth beam across the back here, it's going to allow us to completely open up the main floor here, where I'm standing in where is going to be the kitchen. Towards the back of the house there is family powder room. There's a mud room off the side. So again, like that wish list that you have, you can see how we can, make that happen for you by opening up the living space. It does take a lot of work, as you can see, tremendous amount of, temporary support in here, but that's to ensure that we're doing everything safely and to make sure nothing's going to happen to the existing structure while we put the new structure in. One of the other, biggest concerns, fears, misconceptions, let's call it, that clients come to us and say is, in these older homes, we're never going to be able to get modern systems in here. And by modern systems, they're talking about their HVAC system, their electrical system, and their plumbing system, right? And of course, these homes that we're talking about right now are 100 years old. So they weren't built with today's energy efficiency in mind, our air quality standards that we have, and they definitely didn't have the requirements for the electrical like we do now. Everything we use plugs in and charges. That's only going to continue to be the way that we live. Like, I don't think technology is going anywhere, that's for sure. But, first we like to start with, a complete assessment of the home and what the client wants for their MEP systems. And a lot of the time we'll start with HVAC, and we're recommending, of course, high efficiency furnaces, a separate temperature control, thermostats for every floor in the house. We love to add hydronic in-floor heating wherever we can. It's a really efficient way of heating a space. And of course, who doesn't love their feet to be warm in these terrible Canadian winters that we go through here every year? It's inevitable. It's going to get cold, and it's nice to have warm feet. I've never had a client come to us and say, hey, Mike, I really wish we didn't do that in-floor heating. I just hate warm feet in the winter time. So these are a few things we like to add for the HVAC. And of course, with plumbing, when we're doing a full home renovation, we want to remove everything that's existing in the home, like all the old cast iron for your stacks. We want to remove all the old steel pipe, copper pipe that was in there, and we want to replace that and run it with, of course, brand new material, which allows us to be set up for our modern fixtures. It also allows us to have higher water flow and water pressure. And one of the things we'll always do is we want to change the pipes outside of the house there. And we want to change the drain line. We want to change the water, increase water pressure. Never be worried about your drain backing up or anything like that. Like, we've just spent all this time and effort going through the renovation. The last thing we want is something to back up in the home there and have a plumbing issue. Of course, lastly, electrical. This is a big one in the older homes. For people to think that you're going to be able to use the old electrical system when you're doing a renovation like this, or part of it, you're not. It's going to be aluminum wiring, knob and tube. You're just going to end up creating huge problems for yourself. So we're always going to recommend that it's a completely new system, where we're going to upgrade the panel. We want to upgrade the power service in your home here as well. We want all your appliances to work properly. We want everything to function. And to do that, of course, we need the new electrical in your home here, and that goes for EV chargers, your smart home automation. All these things are using tons of power now. So we want to make sure that we're putting in the newest systems, the most energy efficient systems, so that you can really utilize all of these things in this older home here. But you're going to have all the modern touches and modern function that a brand new home would have. So after going through all of these things and understanding what you need to do to build these homes, and what your teams need to understand to build these homes and to give you exactly what you want. I hope, you can get rid of that anxiety, the fear, the misconceptions, and you can renovate with a peace of mind and confidence, knowing these older homes in Toronto can be, beautiful. The floor plan is going to be exactly what you want it to be. There's really no limits there. HVAC, plumbing, electrical systems can be as modern as you want them to be in these homes. Your basement is going to be that beautiful added space that you're able to, enjoy, spend time with your family. And I really hope you take this information and you can learn from it, and it really makes a difference in your renovation project. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, give that like button a push, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and I'm going to see you on the next video.